All right, welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so happy to see you. Nicola, I think you should be able to share your screen. Let me know.
Okay, let me try it right now.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. I like everyone to put in the chat where they're from because I'd love to see all the places.
It won't let me share my sound though.
Hmm,
What? Oh, there it goes.
Did you get it? Oh, here we go. Alabama, Virginia, Roll Tide, oh, a lot of Alabama people. New York City, New York, Fayetteville. We got all the people. Texas, yay, we're so happy to have you all. Welcome to the
Welcome.
Notary. Yeah, welcome to the Notary Public Day Extravaganza. I think next year I'm gonna like record something fun to take over my not very good little start there. But for those of you who are taking time out of your day to come hang out with us, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. We have the favorite NNA employee,
Thank you.
Nicola Jackson, Director of Training and Education. Yay. Hey, Nicola, thanks so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And sorry, I cheer for myself because I'm
That's okay.
got to be my best cheerleader, right?
We all have to cheer for ourselves. We don't do a good job of that. So if you've been on with us before, I love that you guys can talk amongst yourselves in the chat. If you have any questions, put them in the Q&A. We will hold them all and ask at the end. But you all have heard from me a million times. So I'm going to turn this over to Nicola so that she can tell you all the good stuff.
Hello, everyone. And like Marcy mentioned, I am your favorite NNA employee. I also am Director of Training and Education. But one thing that I have realized over the last, I don't know how much time, but a lot of people don't know how to take advantage of membership benefits. So I want to talk about them today and show you the value that the NNA has. So I'm going to get right into it and talk about the tools that we have, the resources we have, the support that we have to grow and thrive in your role here in our amazing community. So what can NNA membership do for you? So I'm going to break down them in categories that way they're listed on the website, and everything I'm going to say is also on the website, and we'll have instructions for doing that. But there's support from the experts that we have created for you, and I'll dive into what those are in a little bit. Talk about the professional privileges and the various resources that we have physically, virtually, how you can advertise that you're a member to, show that you belong to a professional association. There's some money saving perks that you may or may not be aware of that I want to make sure you can take advantage of. And then things that are going to help if your notary business is in fact a business, some business cost controls that we have if you are a member of the organization. So you are probably asking, I just know it, I can hear it, I'm thinking it. How do I take advantage of these benefits, Nicola? And the answer is that you have to go behind the member wall. So you are going to head to our website, nationalnotary.org, and you are going to click the login button that I have circled up here on your screen. Okay, I hope everybody can see that. And what you're going to do is click on that button. And if it's your first time joining us, you're going to have to create an account with the email that we have on file with your membership and enter your email address, create a password, go through that whole scenario. Now, the thing that will happen, and it won't be like an obvious change, is all of a sudden in the top right hand corner, it's going to say, hi, insert your name. So mine says, hi, Nicola, because that's my name. And so you'll see that there's like a little caret here that you're going to click down on, and you are going to see the choice that says My NNA. And so if you've never been to My NNA, that's where you're going to want to go. So you're going to click that little caret, select where it says My NNA, and it's going to take you to an area that looks just like this. And here, my friends, is where the magic happens. So you'll find your member number. You'll find the email that we have associated with your account, the current phone number that we have, and you have the ability to add all this information about you So if you look at the menu here on the left-hand side, you're going to notice that you can look at your order history to see what you've purchased from us. If you've gotten trainings, this is where you're going to access it. If you currently are in the application or renewal status, this is where you'll check to see what's going on. But equally important is this area that says My Addresses. So I don't even know if you know, but you can change and update your information without having to call in. You can just click on this left-hand menu here where your addresses are, and you can add all of your information that you want us to know. So you'll see that you can indicate how long you've been a notary, what your experience is, how often are you doing notarizations. If you find that people have talked about an email that they're getting and you don't get emails, you can check and see whether or not you've opted out here, and you can actually check what you want to be contacted about. So there's options to do that, and you can give us as much information about you so that we can cater your experience. You can also change your password here if you are worried about somebody doing that, or you need to just change your password because it's good to do so every now and then. This is where you can do it. Okay, so let's go back to this side menu here. And the most important thing that I want to point out to you is where it says member benefits, because this is where the list is going to be and where you're going to access all of these fantastic benefits. So let's take a look. When you click that, you're going to see a screen come up that has them in list form. And what I'm going to do is just go through and show you all the things. So the first question that a lot of people like to ask is about your actual membership card. So if you've been in the game long enough, you know we actually used to send a physical card, but we're living in a virtual world. So that membership card, you can actually click on that and get your membership card. And if you do this when you're on your phone, you can actually add your membership card to your virtual wallet on your phone to have it ready. Should you ever have to call hotline or need it, it'll be there. But if not, you can see that you have that card there. Take a screenshot of it. I know I like to have it. The next thing, and what a lot of people would probably argue is your favorite membership benefit is our fabulous world-renowned, I say world, because I talk about it all over the world, is the hotline and that hotline support. So you can actually reach hotline through this what do you call it? The link right here, and it'll give you options to either call on the phone with the hours of hotline. They're listed in Pacific time, but they run 6 days a week. And for the West Coast, it's 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. That works out to 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So a good portion of the day. And then on Saturdays, it's a 12-hour time frame that we're open. But let's say it's closed and you still have a question that came up that you do want answered. You can see here that you can actually fill out a form to submit your question. That goes into our email box, and you are also welcome to send that. The emails get replied to within 24 hours. So you can actually access hotline there or just call the phone number and talk to somebody on the phone. Couple things that I want to mention. The first one being this. The number one piece of advice that I would give people is to make sure that before you do the thing that you are wondering whether or not you should do, call the hotline. Don't call and say, hey, I did this thing and I'm not sure if I should have done it, because then it's too late. So a lot of times hotline calls that come in are literally check-ins, if you will, or just running past a person on the other end to make sure that that thing that you're kind of questioning whether or not you should do, talk to that person and just get that clarity, get that feeling that you have squared away to know you're doing the right thing. There's no worse feeling in the world than knowing you shouldn't have done something and then doing it anyway, and then calling and someone going, yeah, that, it's a lot easier to stop it on the front end. So what I would love to do, and hopefully you're going to be able to hear this, and if not, I'll just tell you what it says, is this video here about how to get the most out of your calls for hotline. So let me know if you cannot hear it in the chat, and if not, I'll keep going. Oh, but not before a commercial, of course.
Diagnosed with Crohn's disease and struggling with your
Good times. Gotta love YouTube.
Soon to talk to your doctor about Entyvio.
Stuck on a notarization detail? NNA members can call the NNA hotline for notarization-related questions. Here are some tips to help you take advantage of your NNA hotline call. First, it's important to understand what our notary consultants can do. They can review your documents.
Uh-oh.
Go over rules and regulations for different states, answer questions about completing notary certificate wording, and describe the different types of notarizations. Also, hotline consultants can go over identification rules and the types of ID you can accept in your state, including alternative ways you may be able to use to verify a signer's identity. If you make a mistake during a notarization, hotline consultants can walk you through how to correct it. They can explain statutory requirements for fixing errors related to certificate wording, seal placement, and journal entries. When you get an unusual request, hotline consultants can let you know if your state allows the service your client wants. Although there are many ways the NNA hotline can help, there are things hotline consultants cannot do. First and foremost, they can't give legal advice. That can only be provided by a licensed attorney. They also can't choose documents for you, speak to your signers directly about their documents, or complete information in the main body of a signer's document. Also, because every company has its own policies and procedures, hotline consultants can't answer questions about your employer's internal office rules. If you're preparing to take any state notary exam or the notary signing agent exam, hotline consultants cannot provide test questions or answers. Finally, hotline consultants can't investigate complaints of misconduct or reports against a notary public. Before you call the hotline, here are a few things to have ready. Have your member ID ready before you call, so the hotline consultant can find your profile information. Be sure to have a pen and paper handy because you'll want to take notes. And if you need help with a specific document, you can send it to the hotline consultants just before your call. You can email the document to hotlineservices@nationalnotary.org or fax it to 818-332-4947. During your call, be sure to let the hotline consultant know if you sent a document ahead of time. And have all relevant materials ready if you can. For example, if you need to find out if you can accept a specific type of ID, have it ready for reference. When you call the hotline, be prepared to describe the issue in as much detail as possible. This will help the consultant give you the best service. If something's unclear, ask follow-up questions. You can ask additional questions about any information the consultant gives you. After your call, you may receive follow-up emails from our notary consultant. They can include information on specific laws and step-by-step instructions about your issue. Be sure to review your notes and any follow-up emails you receive. If you have additional questions, you can always call back. NNA membership gives you unlimited access to the notary hotline, so don't be afraid to use it when you need it. Remember that NNA hotline consultants are not attorneys and cannot provide legal advice. For questions about the validity, contents, or use of a document, you need to ask a qualified attorney. If you need information on notary rules and procedures, check out the NNA's Knowledge Center at www.nationalnotary.org/knowledge-center.
So first, I just want to shout out my girl Tamara, who was in that video. Not to fret, so I will go over if you couldn't hear what we were talking about, but you want to have your NNA ID ready, what the document is, and any IDs that you have questions about. Make sure that you are as detailed as possible, and just keep in mind we'll probably ask a lot of clarifying questions, the hotline consultant will, to make sure they truly understand what it is that you're asking about. You can also send them over. Sometimes it's easier if you just email it over. or send it to the fax. Now, if you don't know what a fax is, then just email it. But there's sometimes where if you work for a company that has really good security, it's hard to send an email out that has documents in it. You also want to make sure that you redact any personal information of the signer so that we don't compromise that customer's privacy. The next thing is to make sure that you give us as much context as possible. So explain the situation, take notes, and make sure you just keep asking questions until you're really clear what it is that you're supposed to do and you feel comfortable about it. And don't be afraid to ask the person to explain it again and again. And then if you need to, we can send you references, summarize the call and send you an email after the fact, and even give you step-by-step instructions if that's going to be helpful. But there's no time limit that the consultants have. They can stay on the phone with you as long as you need. So really feel comfortable. Now, if you are not a member, every person gets a one-time courtesy call. So even if you're not a member, call, try us out, get that courtesy call. If you've had one before, they will tell you that you have to have it because it is a membership perk. But make sure that you are talking to that consultant and really feeling like that person's answered your question. Now, every now and then, I'll hear, when I call the hotline, I never get the same answer twice. And so I kind of want to speak to that a little bit in the sense of when somebody calls and asks a question and someone provides the answer, maybe it was not as in depth as you wanted, or you think maybe they didn't understand what I was asking. No one's going to ever ask the exact same question twice. So it's kind of difficult to give the exact same answer if the question's framed a little differently. Or sometimes the person, once they've answered the first time, kind of creates a new part of the scenario that the person, when they call back, asks that kind of gives more clarity, and maybe the answer was clearer the second time. So I really want to encourage you to just, if you're not happy with the answer, to make sure that you just keep asking questions until you get the clarity that you're looking for, because that's what the consultants want to give you. So just to kind of summarize, the consultants will guide you on certificate wording if you are not sure what kind of notarial act it is, because some states, the wording is very confusing. And because we have a very vast database of information, we can access it and help you figure it out. We can explain what the authorized acts are and the steps you take to perform them. We can give you the rules for identification for your state and make sure that you are following them and making good choices. We can clarify any witness requirements for state rules. Unusual requests. Someone's asking you to do something you've never even heard existed, but you may find that it's something that we do have information about. We might have an article about it. We can forward it over to you. And we're happy to review documents with you about what information you can and can't talk about, and just ask those questions. What we cannot do as a hotline consultant is give that legal advice or draft documents. As we know, that's not a function that a notary does. Specific employer policies about what notaries who work for a certain company can or cannot do, we can't speak to those because we don't know what the policies are. Probably the biggest one that's hard to do is we cannot speak to your clients. So you've gone back and forth with them and you're calling the hotline to make sure that you are letting that customer know that you're not able to do this thing. We're not able to get on the phone with them and verify that. And then the other thing, and believe me, it happens more than you realize, is if you're taking an exam or answering questions for a certification, we can't help you answer those questions. So make sure that you go in knowing those parameters, but we will help you get a solution the best way we know how. Even if we have to escalate it, even if we have to call you back, we're going to make sure that we answer that. And that's why, in my opinion, hotline is awesome. Okay, moving on to our next benefit, it's the new law alerts. So whenever there is a new law enacted in your state, you're going to get an email with some details about it, saying what it is that you, in fact, can be looking forward to with this new law change, when it takes effect, and what you'll need to know in terms of the changes that you'll need to make risk because of this new law. Now, I don't know if you know, but on the NNA's website, there is actually a database of all laws for all the states and when they're enacted. So you are allowed to go in and search whether it's your state, if it's a specific year that you're wondering when something changed. Sometimes you'll find out, oh, we're not allowed to do XYZ anymore. And you'll be able to trace it back to when that law changed to find out when this happens. So that was something that I didn't realize for the longest time was there. It would have saved me a lot of research, but there's a diligent team that makes sure that this is up to date so that you can find this. And so it'll cover the entire country. There's a span of it. So I highly encourage you, when you're, having one of those notary rabbit holes you want to go down, this is an awesome place to look. Next, we have the National Notary Bulletin. And we have the articles that go out. You can read all of the old ones online. They come out every single week. And from time to time, when new stuff changes, we'll make sure that the original article gets updated. So you're getting the most up-to-date information. And that is also found there. And lots of relevant stuff that we have questions about. And if you've been around long enough, we had a magazine at one point. The archived stuff is also back there, but it's really nice to read some of these articles. And this is what Hotline will use to back up information that they provide to you whenever you are asking questions and you want some documentation for proof outside the statutes. Then we have monthly member news. It doesn't always necessarily come out, but if there is some to be had, it will be here. So you'll click the caret and you'll find that this inbox will have the information. It'll tell you to check your inbox if there is something applicable that you can go through. And then the last one, as far as the experts go, is a discounted rate for Legal Shield. So of course, this is where you can pay a monthly fee and have direct access to someone at a law firm that can help you in the event that, having an attorney on retainer is not something that everybody can afford to have. So it's really nice because it has the low monthly fee that you pay, and you can take advantage of having this without having to have your own personal attorney. So we talked about the support from the experts. I want to point out to you now some professional privileges that we have. And my favorite is being able to read these books digitally that we actually sell on the NNA website. So the complete how-to guide for notaries, you can access this, and you will do this in the area that I just showed you. These are books you can access for free and have them at your disposal. So I got to tell you, the complete how-to guide for notaries is available. Just so you know, this is the very first book that anybody employed at the NNA who is going to have notarial knowledge. This is the book that gets put in front of you. This is what I learned. This is how I started learning about the basic functions of a notary. It's not state specific, and it goes over the standard procedures and standard practices of care that every notary should follow regardless of the state that you're in. So if you're looking for some, light reading, it's about 300 pages. I joke, but it really does itemize the best procedures to go for every single notarial act and covers the gamut of what a notary should do in various situations. So it's a big book, so it's broken down in sections. The next one is the Notary Answer book. So you can actually download this book. I love this book and I hate this book. I have a love-hate relationship, and I'll tell you why. People have heard me tell this story before, but this book is probably the most well, let me say this. It has the most common answers of stuff that we're not allowed to do as a notary and why. Long time ago, it was called Sorry, No Can Do. It's got a great new title. But what happens is someone says, I need you to do this thing for me. Can you notarize without me being there? And you'll explain, I cannot notarize without you being there because it's against the law. And the requirement is that I have to have you face to face in front of me. And so they go, but. And you've explained it, you've explained what the reasons are. And for some reason, if you open up this book and it says, why can't notaries notarize unless you're standing in front of me, it'll give a detailed description of why. And then for whatever reason, the signer will say, well, why didn't you say so? When literally the words on that page are exactly what you just said. But for some reason, people love to see stuff in writing. So this book kind of gives you that support. I know it's on the website for $35, but you can actually download it because you're a member. So I love having that at my disposal. Just to, it's a quick, no, I can't. And here you go. Here's proof. The next thing, one thing that everyone should access to make sure that they have print off just for emergencies in your notary bag is access to the notary certificate forms for all 50 states. So you can actually download them. My recommendation is when you print them out to have them in your notary bag that you do so in color so that you can tell that they're original and they look very nice. And then we have all 50 states that are on there plus District of Columbia. And what's nice about it is it has each of the acts that are listed for that particular state. And what's nice about the NNA certificates, I know that you can buy them in pads. And so, you know if that's what you need to have on standby because you come across a lot of wording that you get documents where the wording doesn't meet the requirements of your particular state, or they've presented you with like a letter and you have to attach this certificate form. This is what you're going to use. So depending on how you notarize and what you're notarizing for, the paper option in the pad may be better, or the ones that you print out yourself also work fine. What's nice about the NNA certificates is the fact that it has the optional section at the bottom to help explain what document you're attaching this to, what its name is, and any information that will keep that certificate form with the document that you notarized. Now, for those of you that are new and still kind of checking out all this stuff that's here, the second best thing about the certificate is actually the back of it. So I don't know how many of you have checked that out before, but if you're brand new, the hotline's closed, just not sure, there's guidance on the back that walks you through step by step what information goes into each space and gives you instructions to follow that, just in case you hit one of those moments where you're like, what do I put here? So even when it's quiet, there's still that support and those resources available. So I would highly encourage you to take a look, log in behind that member wall to make sure that you print out some of those certificates so that you always have them in your notary bag just in case. So depending on your state, it'll list which one of the certificates that are authorized for your state, and you can download them, have them on deck just in case. All right, the next benefit is actually advertising that you have an affiliation with the National Notary Association. Just like, you want to show that you are taking this profession seriously, you have an affiliation to a professional organization, you can actually download it and display it on your website, business cards, your email signature, just to let folks know that you are in fact a member of the association, which comes with knowing that you have gone through and do care about how you perform your notary services. I think it speaks to that. So of course, there's a 2025 badge. It changes every year to make sure that your membership is up to date. And it's just really nice to have so that people know, that you're part of the organization. And then every single month, there are discounts that have that you can have each month it changes of discounts on certain supplies that we sell on the website. Now, in this month in November, it's actually 20% off of select books. And what happens is that when you log in behind the wall and then go look at the supplies on the website, it'll actually show you the discounted prices. So for example, I picked the 5 Steps to a Flawless Notarization book is normally $20. Right now, that's $14. Now, I'm no math major, but I think that's a little more than 20%, but I won't tell if you won't tell. Okay. And then one of the other books that just got updated is Professor Clausen's Best Practices Expert Guide. And this book previously was just about in-person notarizations. Updates have been made to include remote notarizations. Professor Clausen is one of the most renowned experts on notarial law in our industry. So traditionally, this book is $32, but with the sale that's going right now, it's $25. Not trying to sell you on them. I just happened to mention this because they are on sale, and they are two of the best publications that we have available, but they're discounted right now because of your membership benefits. Then we have the money saving perks. Who doesn't love to save money? So currently, I am actually in Sacramento, California, doing some NNA work. And so we had to rent a car and drive to come here. And so we were able to use our car rental service perk, and you can get up to a 35% discount using the code for either Avis or Budget. So when you go onto the website, it'll actually give you instructions on how to take advantage of all these benefits. So even, just the traveling when you have to go somewhere a far distance, you can take advantage of that. And there's links on the website or phone numbers that you can call with the codes that you use. The next one are retail discounts. So this is probably my favorite benefit outside of what my team serve, and that's the I can never pronounce this, Abemnity website. So when you go to this website, you'll sign up and get your information entered for your NNA membership. But what I would encourage you to do is go in and put your zip code, and you can sort for local deals. So as I mentioned, I'm not near home. I'm in Sacramento. So I put the zip code in of the hotel where we are, found out that I can get a free appetizer at CPK. It was 50% off Chuck E. Cheese, not the summer pass, 50% off for like a play pass at Chuck E. Cheese. I know that my son loves doing stuff like that. Discounts on sports events. Okay. So if you want to come down to LA and watch my Dodgers, you can get discounts on tickets for that. So I highly recommend that you check it out, because with Christmas coming and the holidays coming as well, there were a lot of discounts for gift cards. So as we're getting closer to the holidays, who doesn't want to get discounts on stuff that we're going to purchase anyway? So you can see that there's a lot of different ways to go in there. A little research goes a long way. But I was really excited at the various free food that I could get around the Sacramento area just by checking. So every zip code is different. I know I just went to Dallas and there was a lot of gift card stuff, but not too much free food. A lot of free food in Sacramento, so thank you. The next one is identity theft insurance. And so it's a 35% off the first year if you sign up for the Norton 360. And then, of course, we have a hotel search engine. So I love saving money when I travel. Sometimes I'm tired and I don't want to drive, so I look and see. So Hotel Engine gives about an average savings of, I believe it's 26% off. And it tells you, again, how to do that on the website when you log in. Last but not least, of course, are the business cost controls. We've got some good old ones that we've had for a while as far as benefits go, and some new ones I'd love to tell you about. Computers and accessories is up to 30% on Lenovo's product line. So if you're in the market for a new laptop, definitely want to check that out. Just price compare, make sure that there's not something that you can get directly from Lenovo rather than, going to various places right now. There's the email marketing services. So brand new, you're not sure how you want to do that. There's a company here that you can prepay for the service, and they will help you come up with a marketing plan and how to get the marketing services through email and work with you closely on that. So there's access to how you do that. Then there's the ability to be able to take electronic payments. So when you first get started, you're trying to figure out whether you want to do Apple Pay or credit cards, or are you going to be a Zelle person or a Cash App person? So by taking advantage of this, you're going to be able to figure out how you can accept those electronic payments, so that you can have this all set up before you want to make it easy for people to pay you. That's what I'm saying. And then one of the newest, or not that this one's not new, the UPS shipping services, especially for you that are doing courier work out there, member only savings that I encourage you to take a look into, both domestic and international. So you can save money. That's a benefit to your customers. It makes your rates competitive. So it's something that you want to check out. And then the newer benefit, we used to have the Staples Business Advantage program, but we actually connected with a new company called IQ Total Source. So paper, toner, I would recommend you check that out there and see how their pricing is in terms of other companies that are out there. We found them extremely competitive, and all the setup information and contact information for the rep that works with us is on the website. So when you're setting up your office, even though, you write off the stuff as deductions for your taxes, it's still great to save money. Now, those are all the benefits that we have being an NNA member, but there's still stuff you can get for free if you're not quite sure yet. If that wasn't enough to sell you, if you have not looked at the Notary Knowledge Center, there are resources there that will connect you for how to get started with your local state information, the different ways that you can use your notary commission, access to the notary bulletin, as well as a whole section of laws and resources. So one thing I want to make sure that everybody has possession of is the Notary Public Code of Professional Responsibility. You can download that PDF there and that's another resource that has best practices and standards of professional care that you should be following, that again is not state specific, but it does give some official expert opinions about things like why one should not take a tip, whether or not you should notarize for your relatives, even when your state says you're allowed to. So if you are a fellow notary, and I know that a lot of you are out there, great resources to look at. The more things that I have at my disposal, the happier I am. So I love to look at those different things. Now, if you don't want to take my word for it, I have some folks that are going to give you some insight.
What I like about the membership and the perks that you get with the membership is to be able to actually call the hotline during the day. Should we have notarial questions? They're right there on the spot.
Being able to use the hotline.
I use the hotline a lot.
The hotline.
The hotline. Being able to call in with questions.
They're very instructive, very friendly. And not only do they tell you what you need to know to obey the law, but they'll also give you additional recommendations to make sure you avoid any possible liability.
And you know you're doing it correctly, everything. If you have any doubt, they get the doubt out of your mind.
The newsletters that they send out have a lot of questions that do come up before I even ask them, and a lot of solutions to
Ooh. What happened? Oh.
those issues.
That makes you follow up to the legislations and the new rules and statutes of what's going on in your state.
The fact that I could go online and print out the documents that I need as an NNA member. I usually just use the resources online, printing out some of the notary tools, the guides.
They're good people again with their information. They have all the supplies that you need.
It's a membership, I think, that's recognizable.
Everything that the NNA brings to the table is just, there's no other organization that comes close to the standards that they set.
I just saw the value of being an NNA member.
One of the best organizations around.
I receive so many benefits that I can't actually pin down one, but I think the saving of the money is really a good thing.
Join now, join today, because it's so helpful and you won't be sorry.
That's the only way to go if you're gonna be a notary. That's how I feel.
So I thank you all very much for listening to my talk about how great the NNA membership benefits are. Make sure you connect with me, your favorite NNA employee. I also a Notary Nicola on all the various different social media platforms. Thank you to my social media manager for that. And Marcy, I am ready for questions.
All right, I just would like to say, what I loved about this is that I belong to a bunch of different organizations. They call me a joiner over here with my staff. And I never know what I get. Like, I know that there are benefits to the organizations that I belong to, and I just never take the time to research it. And I'll bet you a lot of people on this call didn't know that either, because I didn't realize there was that little, hey, alerts for your state kind of thing. I guess I just assumed it was there, but didn't know. I will say for everybody too, I love that I can look up other states' notary laws. So if you're a notary nerd, and I'm saying that with a lot of love because it's a good thing.
Oh, same.
Yeah, right. It's so fun to be able to like talk to someone and they'll say, oh, did you know in Virginia, New Jersey? And I'm like, I had no idea. Like, I love to go in there and see how they do it in their state or what goes on over there, if the information was right or not right. So I love having access to that. All right, let's see. Oh, and I will do a shameless plug for Professor Clausen's book. He is one of my, he is my notary crush. I tell him that and he blushes every time I say it. I adore him. His books are amazing because, and I say this from someone who was able to review both of them, they're not boring. Like, they're not dry at all. He presents it in a way where the information really is real life world scenarios. I get nothing for this. There's no kickback here, but I will say, if you're looking for a really good notary read that will hold your attention, his books are it. Okay, so I have a question here. It says, for
Should
the
I
new
stop
law
sharing?
alerts. I know, I just wanted to say that because I really do. People think, oh, notary, it's so boring. And let's be honest, a lot of notary is just pretty boring, but he is not boring. For new law alerts, do we receive an email automatically or do we have to check the link in the membership tab?
No, so the new law, if there's a new law that's coming out affecting your state, you will get an email unless you've opted out of emails. So that place that I showed you where to log in, you can opt back in there and say that you want to get those type of emails. And it's Professor Clausen's. Oh my God, I just went blank.
I know, I was gonna say, I don't have it sitting here. It's in my
Okay, hold on, I'm
in
gonna
the
go back.
other room. We're gonna find that for you.
I just had it on the tip of my tongue, but everything.
You can Google it too, CLOSE, Professor Clausen's.
Yeah.
Notary best practices. Sorry
Yes,
about that.
best practices.
Yes.
And yeah, and this update with the oh, there it goes. I just passed it. Hold on a sec. It is Professor Clausen's Notary Best Practices Expert's Guide to In-Person and Remote Notarization of Documents. Whew.
And if you buy it and read it, then I want you to send me an email or note telling me what you thought. Like, did you love it? Was I wrong? I'm right about this. So it's a really great book. Super interesting.
Well, and maybe that one's too intimidating, then read the Notary Public Code of Professional Responsibility, because there's examples in there. Now, I will say it's got like a bibliography and footnotes. It's very academic, but also very interesting with like different scenarios presented and arguments why you should or should not do something. So there's no, the notary world is very gray. And I know a lot of people like to black and white it, but sometimes it isn't. I mean, it's still the practice of law, right? Not attorney law, but these are statutes written like law. So you do have, that's the gray in between sometimes is confusing because it isn't concrete. So that's where the hotline and these resources really come into play to talk it through with someone. And I'm not joking. That's what most hotline calls are, is talking it through where you know what you think the answer is and getting that confirmation from somebody to just go, yes, you are absolutely right. Don't do that. It just gives you that peace of mind that like, I'm going to go in there and say no, and I'm going to say no with confidence, because putting the no in notary is hard sometimes. It really is. And you get intimidated because people are pressuring you, and maybe it's not allowed in your state, but you want to do a good job and you want the customer's documents to go through. And by pushing something you shouldn't do could actually jeopardize the transaction, and all that liability comes back on you. And that's what the foundation of NNA membership is protecting you from that with these resources and these humans that have made it, their passion to answer these questions on the hotline. They're really dedicated.
Sure. I mean, let's be honest, the general consumer out there doesn't really know what a notary does or what they need them for. So, you know, for them to say, hey, I know you can do this. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Not in this state, maybe another state, maybe not. So, and sometimes I know, at least for me, they'll say it with such conviction. I'll be like, wait a minute, can I really do that? Knowing that I can't do it, but
Yep.
that's where confidence and conviction comes in. Sometimes people
Right.
do a good job of making you rethink yourself.
Well, and Marcy, you know, we always talk about our favorite phrase. Well, the last notary.
The last notary.
The last notary. And so don't be the last notary.
No, no, there's always a notary. I always tell people when they call me, there's always a notary out there who will do it. That doesn't make it right, right? Doesn't do you any justice to get it done incorrectly or done at all when it's not supposed to be, if it's going to cause a problem down the road. That's certainly true.
Absolutely.
Does anyone have any other questions for Nicola about membership or hotline or training? Or I don't know, you can ask anything. We can ask her all sorts of stuff. I would love to hear questions. Anybody on here? We have a bunch of people on here from all sorts of places, which I love too.
Well, first,
Can we
thank you
talk
for
about,
coming.
thank you for having me. Can we talk about the NNA loan signing certification for a minute, maybe?
Sure.
So when people ask me, hey, Marcy, do I need it? What I say to them is, you know, it opens the doors for more work for you out there, right? Because there are some companies who require it. You and I talked about this before, and you're like, if you don't want it, don't get it. Like, don't take it. And I think people would be surprised by hearing you say that is our favorite employee at the NNA. But can you tell me why you feel that way? Like, can you explain the answer in a way that maybe I can't explain it?
Yes. You know, what happens is people see the certification course, the exam, and a lot of input has been put into it to make sure that we're including information that very much is what the industry wants notaries and notary signing agents to know. And I think that once they see how that information is conveyed, they make a decision that they want their folks that are going to work for them to go in with certain amount of knowledge or a certain knowledge set. And so they make it a requirement. So there's no implication on our end of like, hey, we need you to require people to do this. It's a choice that they, you know, they do and say, because they know what it means and what one has gone through to complete that. Same kind of thing with, you know, the background screenings is people are, our jobs as, you know, signing agents in particular is to go into people's homes, and folks want that peace of mind that they're not sending somebody who has a background. And I understand that a lot of people have to go through, like California has to go through background checks for your notary commission, but a lot of states don't do that. And
I heard it was 10. I heard it was only 10 states that require background checks for notaries.
It's somewhere around there. I don't want to falsely quote, but it's under, it's barely double digits. It's not a lot. And so what happens is that, you know, most states on the application are like, are you promised you haven't committed any crimes? But they don't check. So I don't want to do a whole like fear factor thing to say that, you know, it turns out that people lie on their applications. And at some point it turned out that someone who was a pretty dangerous criminal was, you know, able to obtain a commission and go into someone's house. And I know that as a consumer, if someone's going to come to my house and I've hired a company to do that, I want to make sure the person coming in is not going to, you know, do something or has a background where I am now at risk as the public. So
and even just identity theft, right? We're not even
Correct.
talking about a violent crime. We're talking about identity theft is such a big deal out there today. And you think about, you know, as a loan signing agent, you have like it's all right there.
You
all
have
that information, right?
every single place that they've ever worked. You know,
Yeah.
you've got their social security number, everything you could possibly need to steal someone's identity is there. And then you've got a person who on their application was like, yep, pinky swear I never broke a law. And so that's what people are looking for. And the other thing of why you got to do it every year is because, you know, people are constantly on the move, life changes. So it's making sure that your background is still up to par for what the standard is of integrity for notaries in the field.
I agree. I'm a big advocate of background checks as well. I would love, there's certainly all the states to implement, you know, better requirements and educational requirements for notaries, but that's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
Well,
So it's nice to
infrastructure,
see.
it's hard
Yeah.
to put that infrastructure into place because, you
Sure.
know, so as we go into more of a digital era, I'm sure that that will happen at some point. But you know, there's some states where you literally walk in with your application and they go, "Do you promise to be the best notary ever?" And you say yes, and that's it. Boom, you're ready. So
So that I appreciate you having the conversation. We're talking about a lot out here, you know, why these things are in play, who's asking for it. And like I said, I tell notaries, if you don't want to get a loan signing agent certification, just like you don't have to do it. It just opens more doors for you. That's a business decision, right? These are all business decisions. And I think that we're in a place recently where we want to tell everyone how to run their own business. I don't have my favorite mug, but I made a mug and it says, minding my own small business. Mind your own small business, right? Do what's best for you and your business, mate.
absolutely.
Well, we have Melissa Battle on here who said that she is like Sir Mix-a-Lot of Notary. She likes big certificates and she cannot lie. She is also one of the NNA influencer honorees for
She's a
this
finalist,
year.
absolutely.
She's a finalist. We love Melissa. So if you haven't seen them, it's Melissa and Anna, who just got married. Keys is now her new last name. Is that right?
Yes.
And
Anna the Notary, I think, is her moniker.
so
And
out
then
there,
Sierra
right?
Walker, the Notary Blueprint, and my girl Melissa Battle, who is notarizing Tampa. I mean, I actually feel bad for the notaries because they're three really good choices. And I absolutely love that we have three awesome women representing who are just really telling all the things to the notary community. And Marcy, you and I have been around for a while. When I first started, when an NSA became a thing, it didn't even have a name. When I first got wind of it, the acronym was actually NASA. So it got changed because I was like a little confusing, but literally everyone squirreled away their information. No one told anyone anything. And this whole industry, even the event that we're having today, honoring notaries, would never have happened 20 years ago. So thank you for having an event like this and celebrating what these awesome notaries do. I'm just so happy I get to be part of it. You know, it's the only industry I've ever known, and I love it. So, you know, thank you, notaries, for everything that you do and for making this community awesome. But yeah, make your voice heard about who you resonate with as your influencer. And of course, we're going to have the winner at conference in May in Orlando. We'd love to see you there as well.
Yeah, we're very happy. Thank you so much, Nicola, for explaining all of this, because I know I didn't know all the things, and I know one out there didn't know all the things now too. So that's incredible. Thank you. Thank you to all the notaries who joined us today.
Yes,
I
thank you.
appreciate you. I know everyone's time is super valuable, and so I'm always grateful when you guys take time out of your day to spend it with us. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, a wonderful weekend. Maybe I'll see you at the rest of my extravaganza for the rest of the weekend. But thank you again, Nicola, so much. We so appreciate you. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Enjoy. Thank you so much, everyone.